I mean, like, I got attacked in the courthouse.
No respect for the veteran attorney anymore.
No,
You got physically attacked?
I did. I got pushed up against the window by a client.
How'd that feel?
It was kind of weird since he was like 6'4" and wider than me.
So basically you couldn't take him.
Exactly.
What if you could take him?
If I could have taken it, I would have pushed his ass to the ground and I probably would have beaten the crap
So
out of
you're
him.
just mad that you didn't think it was a fair fight.
It was not a fair fight. So, okay, let me back up. I was physically pushed up against the window in the courthouse.
How do you feel where you're at now?
Oh, I love where I'm at now.
No, I mean as an attorney.
As an attorney, I like where I'm at. I've earned where I'm at.
Okay.
I've been an attorney for 6 years. I've been doing criminal defense for the bulk of that. And I like what I do.
Why?
I like helping people.
Why?
I don't know. Probably because when I needed the help,
Okay.
there wasn't anybody there for me.
Oh, I thought you were going to say somebody helped me.
No.
And I want to be like that person.
No, there was nobody there for me. At the end of my abusive relationship of 15 years, he took my house, he took my money, he took my children's money, he took everything from me. He cost me my job. I was literally homeless. There was nobody there for me.
How'd you get out of that?
I worked my way up. I got off the streets with me and my kids because it was me, my 2 kids, babies, in a 2-door car, and a bunch of dogs and a couple cats living on the streets. Marjorie Mason wouldn't even take me because I had the pets.
They wouldn't even take you?
No, they wouldn't take me because they said you have to get rid of the pets. And I'm like, it's not their fault. We're homeless.
Serious?
I'm serious. So
There's
I do
not like a Marjorie Mason pet scenario?
No, I got turned away at every shelter.
So you wanted to keep the dogs?
I wanted to keep the dogs. It wasn't their fault that my dumb husband, ex-husband, treated
How long did you
us
do
like
that for?
I was homeless for about 6 months.
What was that like?
Not fun.
What a stupid question.
Yeah.
What's it like to be homeless?
What's it like to be homeless? You know what? Bathing in a McDonald's bathroom.
Really?
Got my kids into a house. I got a job. And I worked my way up. And then I did odd jobs, all legal jobs, because I was a paralegal. Worked pretty much contract work until I could save up some money. And then I went to law school.
Where?
San Joaquin.
Do they know your story?
Yeah, they do. They did an article about me.
Jan knows about this?
Yes. Yeah, that I'm homeless to attorney.
This was published?
It's on their inter alia because I don't have a bachelor's degree, so I had to have a kick-ass.
You went from no bachelor's degree, special exemption, baby bar.
The baby bar was waived.
Why?
Because I used my paralegal time as credits so I could get the baby bar
I
waived.
didn't know you could do that.
And neither did I until I applied to law school.
Okay, so you have no college experience.
I have an associate in...
No, I mean at this moment.
Yeah.
You have no college experience.
Mm-hmm.
You just came from living in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
You protect your dogs.
Yeah.
And you said, hey, I want to give law school a chance.
Yes.
What the hell's going through your mind?
That I'm stupid. No, actually, what it was is I needed to do something to support my children. It was just me and my kids and my dogs.
Yeah, but there's a grocery store. There's some light work. Not that grocery store is light work, but
and
law school's not light work.
No, it wasn't, and I worked really hard because I worked full time with, at that time, a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old was when I started law school, and then I went to law school at nighttime. So for 4 years, I worked full time, single mom. I didn't miss a single sports event, a single music event, a single graduation ceremony, anything for my children. I didn't miss a single of it. I was team mom for my son's water polo. I was team mom for my son's wrestling. I participated in my daughter's music endeavors. Anything she wanted to do, I was there. And law school.
Oh, and law school.
And law school.
Yeah, and then on the side.
And I passed the bar on the first try.
Whoa.
Yeah. And nobody thought I would. First, nobody thought I would get accepted into law school. Then nobody thought I would actually
Who's
pass.
nobody?
Well, like friends, family, people.
They told you this?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are you wasting your time?
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, you're not going to make it. You didn't have a bachelor's degree. What? You don't have the education. You don't have the experience to succeed. And I...
Did that fuel you?
No, I was like, well, challenge accepted. And I put it to good use.
Yeah.
So...
Okay, so you can really relate to criminal defense.
I can. Yay. But I'm really into rehabilitation because there's programs out there that were not available when I needed them. And then the programs that were out there when I needed them, I didn't qualify for. So I didn't qualify for welfare. I didn't qualify for cash aid. I didn't qualify for Medi-Cal.
Why not?
I was a student. So at that time, if you're a student...
You're not attempting to work.
You're not attempting to work.
You're trying to better yourself. I remember that. You couldn't get unemployment either.
No.
I was laid off from Kmart in Kingsburg. Kmart had closed down, and then...
I remember Kmart.
I'm trying to go get unemployment, and they said, are you looking for a job? I said, well, I'm in full-time at school. And they said, no. You got to look for a job. I said, oh.
Yeah, and I didn't get anything, so I did people's yard works. I washed my neighbor's pets. I did what I could until I could get a law job that would work around my kids' school.
All right, so you go from the homelessness.
Yes.
You go to law school.
Yes.
You pass the bar on the first try.
Yes.
You go and become a criminal defense attorney.
Yes.
Has it become easier?
Yes.
Life.
No. Sort of. So I haven't stopped fighting for what I want. I had to fight for my house. Because I have all my student loans. So when you're trying to buy a house and you work, because I ended up working for the county, not public defender, but the county. It's a for-profit, so I don't qualify for any student loan forgiveness, or discount or anything like that. So I got screwed there. And then I had a high debt to income ratio because I don't pay very much. So I had to go out and get a second job.
Kind of like the Energizer Bunny in the courthouse.
I really am.
Because there's like 3 of you, right? You have sisters?
Yeah, we're all triplets.
You guys dress the same every day.
We do. And we have the same tattoos and the same attitude.
Right, because no matter what department I get to, you're first in line.
Always.
Doesn't matter if I've been waiting there for 2 hours. You come in, you're first in line.
Yes.
How many times have you and I had to fight over who's going next?
Never, because I always won.
Well,
no.
I do hate you.
I know. Yeah. A lot of people hated me, but I had...
No. Yeah. Present tense.
Thank you. I try. But yeah, I know I just, when I needed the help through all my life, there wasn't anybody there. There's still not anybody there for me.
Today?
I do it all myself. Okay.
How do you handle all the struggles of mental issues, dealing with all these criminal cases?
Well, my therapist is my tattoo artist.
There you go.
So I am covered in tattoos. My both arms are done.
So is your therapist your tattoo artist, or is your tattoo artist your therapist?
My tattoo artist is my
your therapist. Gotcha.
Yes. So that's why I have so many tattoos, because then I can sit there, I can bitch and complain, and then he tells me, put my big girl panties on and see you in a month.
Got it.
Yeah. And that's how I do that. The other aspect is I'm very good at coping. So if I'm going through stress, I know, okay, I'm feeling it on my shoulders. I'm going to go take a walk. And I take one of my dogs and we go for a really long walk. And I just, in my head, or I talk to my dog the whole time and just get it out. And then when I get home an hour or two later, depends on which dog I'm walking, I feel better.
Where's the stress coming from?
Well, work, criminal defense.
How does that feel?
It feels okay.
It feels okay?
Well, so I've left.
Do you feel appreciated?
Now I do. Actually, let me. Working for the county. So, okay, my office right now is filled with a bunch of plants. Because, and I have a story about it, because working for the county, my clients couldn't give me monetary gifts. I wouldn't accept them. So as thank yous for guiding them to where they needed to be, whether it be rehabilitation or working to get them on probation or, get them into behavioral health court or something, they would give me a plant as a thank you gift.
So these are your bonuses.
Those were my bonuses I would get from my clients.
So your plan is to build a jungle of rehabilitation.
Jungle of rehabilitation, so that every plant in my office is a symbol of me helping somebody.
Now you got to water these plants.
I do.
Okay.
And now my boss has to walk around my plants. When you work in private, the clients hire, the other attorney, the main person on the billboard or whatever, the name on the card. And then I come in and they don't know who the hell I am.
Wow, I didn't pay you.
I didn't pay you.
You're not
Why
the one. What are you doing here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I have to spend time to get to know them and get them to know me. And then afterwards, they give me hugs, say thank you, and then they go on their day.
So building that rapport, necessary.
It is.
But you have that experience.
I do.
To say, hey, I kind of know what you've been walking through. I've walked through some of this.
Exactly. I've probably been through what they've been through. So they now have somebody who understands and is willing to listen to what they have to say. And that's the biggest thing with criminal offense is just you got to listen to them.
Do you tell them about your experiences?
Not all the time because it's
too personal.
Sometimes it's personal, but if they have something that I can relate to, then I go, you know what, I do understand I did go through that. I don't get into the details, but then they know, wait, this attorney did experience what I'm experiencing.
You're a lot nicer about it than I am.
Not all the time.
Well, because when I start hearing a client say, you don't know what it feels like to have to work in the fields, or you don't know what it feels like to your parents don't speak English. I'm like, who are you talking to? Who do you think I am?
I do the same thing because I look at them like, work in the fields. I'm like, okay, wait, you're Hispanic. You worked in the Hispanic fields, right?
They're like, yeah. You worked in the gringo fields?
And I'm like, okay, I worked in the Hmong fields.
Oh, those are harder because you have less shade in those fields.
Exactly.
Vegetable, backbreaking.
Yeah, and they don't have chairs.
No,
you gotta
chair.
Squat.
Why are you going to sit down?
Exactly. And those are the fields I worked in.
Yeah, that's rough.
And so then they shut up.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, can we get back to the case?
Yeah, essentially.
Can we get back to fixing this?
Exactly.
Don't come at my credentials.
Yeah. And then they look at me and they're like, wait, you're white. How do you work in the Hmong fields? And I'm like, because, I hate to break it to you.
Some kind of roulette game.
Yeah, I was like, my children are Hmong, which meant that my husband was Hmong, which meant that his family had a farm, and I helped on the farm.
Yeah, that's how we eat.
That's how we eat.
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
Yeah. So, again, I've probably experienced almost everything that they've experienced.
Okay. But do you have to share in their experiences? Like if they're having troubles?
If they're having troubles, what I do is I get them
You can separate?
I can separate.
How? I'm trying to figure out how to do that.
There's a door in my head that I close so that I can close. It's kind of like my coping skills. I can cope.
I need some advice on these coping skills because this is what I'm lacking.
Okay.
No, I'm literally going, I have nothing to add to this. Teach me how to cope with this.
So coping is you have to find that internal closure. You have to have some side of closure so that you can close yourself off. And then
so kind of like wall yourself off from the issue.
Exactly.
So don't become the issue.
Don't become the issue.
I need some paper to write this down. This is important stuff. Yeah. No. Okay. You'll remind me.
I'm sure you can play back the recording. You'll be fine. So
definitely.
No, you have to close off your own issues. You have to close off whatever you're about because it's not you that matters at the time of representing your client. It's your client that matters. So you can't put yourself in your client's shoes, but what you can do is listen to them and understand what pair of shoes they are wearing. If that makes any sense.
Do you ever feel that there's things that you're dealing with that can maybe trigger or bring up some of your past?
Sometimes.
Could make you a little emotional in the situation and you're not just logical.
Sometimes. Because I spent 15 years in an abusive relationship.
So how do you cope with that scenario?
I block myself off because my abuse is my abuse. I allowed it to happen. So when I represent the accused abuser, I try to find out, why are you doing this? And a lot of times it ends up it's a mutual situation, and it's about growth within the relationship that couple needs. And if I can focus on their needs, then it's easier to block my emotions.
Okay. But those scenarios where some of their trauma spills over to you.
Yeah.
You cope with that?
I cope with that. So I take a step back.
So that's the stuff that got through the filter.
That gets through the filter. So
and then you say, hey, hold on, time out.
I go, okay. So if we're, say, having a meeting.
Okay.
We're meeting in my office and we're having a conversation. And it gets to me a little bit. I go, I will stop it. And I will say, you know what? I think we made great progress today. Let me take some notes. I took notes. I think we had a good day today. Let me analyze what we discussed today. And I'll have my staff do another meeting with you if we need one. Thank you. And I send them on their way.
So you're like that person at the bar that knows I've had enough, too many drinks.
Too many drinks.
It's time to get an Uber.
Exactly.
Metaphorically.
Exactly.
Yeah, I need to write that one down too.
I know. I'm one of those. I'm really an in-depth person. And I think it's because I lived through so much.
You don't feel like one day you're just going to burst and run naked in the streets?
Oh, no. Nobody wants to see this naked.
Well, it's not about what people want to see. It's about what you do.
But that's how it stops me, because I go, nobody wants to see this. So let's close that door. Let's close these windows.
Should I go crazy? No, that would be bad.
No, but if you do, let me know. We'll film it. We'll put it on YouTube and get some money off that.
Do you feel that it's too much? You're saying no.
Okay.
But do you ever feel like it's too much for some of your colleagues?
Yes. I could go in to, say, this courtroom, and that attorney in there is all sweating and his face is beaten red and he's just, looking like he's lost. Then I walk up to him and go, dude, what's going on? Do you need some help? And sometimes they say, yeah, or he'll be like, you know what? Let me run this case by you. And then let him talk through it, again, listening to him. And then I offer some advice, whether he wants to take it or not. But usually if you can tell, because working in this field, you get tired, you get exhausted, you're dealing with problem after problem and problem. We see the worst of people. We see them with mental illnesses. We see them with schizophrenic. We see them, all that.
Rock bottom.
And
we see it every day.
Every day, multiple times a day.
Which leads you to these beautiful...
With the beautiful art
beautiful
that I have
artwork that you have.
On my arms and back. Well, right now we're working on my back and my feet.
But it sounds like you're finding a way to let that vent out. Let the steam out. Because you already know it's going to affect me. I need to find a therapist. Or it's going to affect me.
Yeah.
I need to go get my tattoos.
Yeah, I have to do something.
Are there colleagues who do nothing?
I've seen it. They do nothing and then they burn out.
And then what do we do for them?
We
watch them burn out?
I don't.
I feel like we do.
A lot of people do. So what an employer needs to do when they see a burnt out employee is have a conversation with them and see, look, do they need to take a break? Do they need to do some administrative work? Maybe put them on motion writing for a month or two. Take them out of the courtroom. Take them away from the stress of the courtroom.
You think it's the courtroom then that brings the stress?
I think it's a combination of everything. Society, we're in the middle of society, and everywhere we look, is that person going to rob us? Because that's what my clients do. They're robbers.
Oh, you don't think that, do you?
I don't think that. I've been mugged twice, but I'm okay. They weren't my clients.
Yeah, you lived.
I lived. We're fine.
Yeah.
But then, what about that homeless person that we have to step over on the way to our cars? Is that person, what's wrong with them?
I don't think there's anything wrong with them.
I leave them alone.
Sometimes I feel like they're happier than me, and actually a lot of times.
They do, because they're not subject
I leave
to
the
taxes.
office and my face looks just horrible, and I look down and I see the homeless person, and he's just like, man.
Yeah.
Have you had some nice conversations with the homeless people? I totally have.
I have.
And they'll tell you, like, bro, you look stressed.
I do that.
And I'm thinking to myself, You're smoking meth right now on Van Ness Avenue, and you're telling me I look stressed. You're probably right.
They are right, because you're stressed because you're trying to help people in avenues that maybe don't want to help themselves. And
they found acceptance.
Yeah, they found acceptance.
They found acceptance.
Yeah, they found they're high on whatever drug they're on. They don't have to pay taxes.
I don't even know if it's that. I think they're just happy not to have to do anything.
Exactly. I am not happy sitting still.
Right. You have to move. You have to do things.
I have to do things.
But your outlet now has become taking on other people's problems.
Exactly. And now I work for a law office where I'm helping my boss deal with other things.
People's problems. But you're still doing that.
I'm still helping.
We're all still doing that.
We're all doing it because we're stuck.
So we're inevitably susceptible to being corrupted or falling off.
Maybe
burning out.
Burnt, maybe.
A little crispy.
Crispy, I wouldn't say. We're just susceptible to.
Okay, but listen to what you just said.
Yes.
You started the conversation by saying that a client pushed you up against a window.
Yes.
And we joke, but the reality is, I don't know, and I know you. You probably weren't that scared. You were probably thinking, I wish I had a foot or two on me and like 80 more pounds and I could really take you.
I would
But that's you.
Yeah, that's me.
That's you.
Yes.
And that's a lot of people in our profession, but that's not everybody.
No.
But then you're expected to always be that way.
Exactly.
Move on.
Move on. Move on.
All right, so he pushed you. Next case.
Yeah, you're a defense attorney. Suck it up.
Right. We don't respect you anyways.
Yeah, and it's like okay. And then I get the, well, you know what? You woman decided to be in this field.
You woman?
Yeah.
Somebody said you woman?
Yeah.
I have to write you an apology letter now?
No.
Oh, it wasn't me.
It was not you.
Who said that?
I'm not going to say.
Okay, so somebody said you woman chose this field?
Yes.
So in essence, because you're a woman, you're not able to accept this field.
Exactly.
Wow.
I know. So I went, instead of getting mad about it, I went, you know what? Challenge accepted. And I'll show you, because that's how I just move up. And
there aren't a lot of females in criminal defense.
No, there's not.
And the ones that are there, hats off to them.
It's a difficult field.
Because, well, it's not necessarily a male field, but it is a field where you're not necessarily honored.
Correct.
And you're not necessarily always respected. Maybe even if at all.
No, not all the time.
And most of what you're doing is hated by society.
Exactly. So and
they don't even know that you came from the jungles of homelessness.
No, they don't. They think I was
born into it.
I'm
sure your father's father and your father's father's father were all baron lawyers. They were all esquires.
Oh,
right?
yeah. That's what everybody assumes. I got my breakfast on a silver platter.
Okay.
I did not.
Right.
I
there was no platter.
No, there was no platter. I was raised by
showers
a
at Mickey D's.
military man. And so my dad's military, my mom radiology tech. I was a borderline criminal as a child, and a problematic child at that.
Every defense attorney was a problematic child.
That's, I think, how I can.
It attracts the profession.
It does.
Or the profession attracts it.
Yeah, and it's funny, when my dad was like, she could have been a district attorney.
But alas, she has fallen from grace.
She puts those criminals back on the streets.
Oh, she's going against the grain.
It's called job security.
Are you proud of what you do?
I am.
Protecting the Constitution?
Yes.
Protecting the judicial process?
Yes.
And helping those in need?
I'm really big on rehabilitation.
Well, who isn't?
There's some people
Politics?
They just want everybody in prison. But
unless it costs too much. So have you ever been told that you are a criminal defense attorney, so you are what's wrong with society? You are scum?
No.
You ever get the question? You never get that question?
I don't.
You never get told you're scum?
I have never been told I'm scum. I've been
told
I've been called. I don't have friends. That's probably why.
Oh, you're just avoiding humans.
I avoid humans. I go home to my dogs.
How about the number one question?
Okay.
That there is no answer to.
Okay. What is it?
How do you represent someone you know is guilty?
I find out what's fair for both sides.
So you're the decider of fairness?
Not necessarily. What it is the fairness is not a happiness for either side. It's a satisfactory unhappiness. So if somebody is guilty, why are they guilty? Why did they do the crime? What happened?
So it's not just did they commit the crime?
It's not just did they commit the crime. The question is, why did they commit the crime? Do they have a drug addiction, an alcohol addiction? Were they homeless and desperate?
Why should society care about that?
Because we are all part of the society. And if we don't fix the problem, then the problem's just going to explode.
Jesus said, don't cast that stone if you've sinned.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because they've all sinned. But, I mean, and if you represent somebody who's guilty, but you can put them in a program or help them find a program that...
Funded by the government?
Yeah.
Taxpayers?
Yeah.
So the taxpayers again?
Yes, but it will cost the taxpayers less to put them through that program and then encourage that person who's now rehabilitated to then become a taxpayer and benefit society. So instead of being a burden on society and being in prison for 14 plus years, sucking our tax money from us, we can put them in a program for, up to 2 years. And then they come in and they become a benefit to society. And then they start contributing to society and being a benefit.
There you go.
So that's how you represent somebody who's guilty. You rehabilitate them to turn them into a benefit versus a burden.
There you go. Homeless court. Have you heard of this?
I have.
Homeless court. I saw a brochure in court the other day.
Yeah, homeless court.
I don't know who left it there.
Somebody wanting to encourage it, maybe.
Why aren't you a part of this?
I haven't been asked.
You'd be the poster child.
Oh, I would be the poster child. I actually haven't been asked to participate.
Asked? Why do you have to be asked?
Because I am so busy.
Well, maybe you can get rid of one of those 8 jobs.
Right now I'm down to 4.
Okay, down to 4. So you have 4 spaces available.
I do.
Make that homeless court.
I could look into that.
I'd help you.
Okay.
You literally have the key right here. The person who says, hold on, bud. I know what this is about.
Like, I was homeless with children, and now look where I'm at.
I felt where you were at.
I will look into that.
I think that's something that would actually work for you.
It might, and then I can help these people.
Yeah.
Off the street, if they want to be off the street. That's the problem.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people that don't want to be off the street.
Well, I'm not talking about the people that say that, there's some people that just want to live on the street. That's a different scenario.
That's their prerogative.
But those that are trying to live in a home, that's their prerogative too. But then they get into the legal troubles.
They do.
And then all of a sudden I'm homeless. And now I have to find a way to get to court. And I can't get there. And I'm trying to get a job. But I don't, and I'm behind. It's just like trying to catch up on that credit card bill and you're never going to get it. But it's now with life. Life
gets in the way. And life is a struggle. And when you have that first domino fall over and hit the second one, then it'll hit the third one until you figure out a way to stop the dominoes from falling.
There's a way to do that?
I found a way.
You have a fountain of youth too?
No, I wish I had a fountain youth, but I wouldn't be as old as I'm feeling today.
So what is this way that you found?
You have to find that motivation, that internal motivation to stop those dominoes, because the only person who can stop those dominoes is that person. You can't stop the dominoes for somebody else. Like, you can't stop my dominoes because they're my dominoes. I can't stop your dominoes. The only way you can do it is mind over matter. You have to find out what matters to your mind, and that stops your domino. And then that helps you backtrack so you can start lifting back the dominoes. That's not to say the dominoes might start falling down again, but that just means you got to find another way to pick them up.
You said Domino's so much. I want pizza now.
Yeah. Yeah. You could get some pizza. Have it ordered. Help somebody who has a DoorDash, delivery service.
No, this is a secret confidential location. DoorDash people aren't going to know where we're at.
We could do a drug drop in the car and they hand you.
I thought we were at the basement of the courthouse right now.
Oh, we are. But you know what? We could go to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It totally makes sense.
It totally makes sense. All you have to do is put Domino's. I'm meeting at courthouse fountain.
Okay, I've actually learned a lot from you. Okay. I did not know you were homeless before.
Most people don't.
It's not something you lead with.
No. Can you imagine if I walk up to you and say, hey, guess what? I used to be homeless.
I would think, she's crazy.
Yeah, she's crazy.
Yeah.
You already think I'm crazy because...
Right, but that was for a different reason.
I know.
Now we're adding. But see, now I know where that comes from, you know?
Yeah,
like, okay, you've experienced life in a certain way that maybe others haven't seen.
Exactly.
So
there's
your
that fight.
Your gringa exposure, as you call it, outside, exterior, doesn't necessarily match that interior history.
No, there's a lot going on inside. That's why I'm so fat. It's all that bottled up tension.
I'm supposed to ignore that and move on and be a good person and not say anything.
No, I don't judge anybody.
Really?
Really, I don't.
Well, you're going to have to when you want to be judged.
But that's a different kind of judging.
Follow the rules.
Follow the rules. You have to be neutral.
You can do that?
I can do that. That's why I think I'm a good defense attorney, is because I'm neutral. I look at the case in a neutral aspect.
Okay. But you also look at all the bad.
I look at all the bad, but I also look at all the good.
When you're going to do a trial, you find every issue that's wrong with it before you find every issue that's right with it.
Exactly, because as a defense attorney, I have to look for the holes that the district attorney has. That is fighting for justice and making sure my client's rights are preserved.
Would you say that once you find all of that bad and you know it can be proven, maybe it's time to try to figure out why this person is committing this crime?
Exactly.
And that's what makes it easier to represent the guilty person. It
is. And then you can work for a settlement, a reasonable settlement that fits the punishment of the crime. I mean, if somebody is they go to Walmart and they steal a loaf of bread and a gallon of milk, well, why? Did they do it just because? Or did they do it because they've got a kid in the car that needs to eat? Okay, well then, putting them in jail isn't going to work. Putting them in the stupid theft class isn't going to work because they didn't steal for a purpose other than necessity.
So it's not like they're habitual thieves.
Yeah.
Or they're klepto.
They're not kleptos.
Right.
But so I would treat them like, okay, let's have them do some community service. Let's set them up with some services to get out of their car so that they can get to a location where their child isn't living in the car and they don't have to steal anymore.
Sounds like homeless court is right in itself here.
It probably is. And then you look at the other one where all they do is they steal clothes, like they go and they do grabs and then they resell. Well, they're doing it for selfish reasons sometimes. Mm-hmm. But it just depends on why they're doing it. But typically if you're grabbing sometimes it's age, youth.
Can we mature this human?
Can we mature them? Let's make them do some community service. Feed the people at the Poverello house. Let them see what happens.
I am all for making people work.
Yes.
I am all for, and I know everybody's against it. Let's put people in the fields.
I put them in the fields.
Do your alternative work program in the fields. Yes.
I'm all
Tulare
for
County
that.
has vegetables. You can work your time off doing field work.
I'm all for that.
Me too. You know why? Because I did it, you did it, and we're like, no, we did it.
Yeah, I was like, I did my time.
I did my time. That's all right.
Yeah.
Hey, look, you want to go to jail? You want to go pick the fields this summer?
Yeah, I was like, okay, you pick tomatoes or jail.
And we can have a salad afterwards.
And then we can have a salad, or we can teach them how to make ketchup. Maybe they'll get a job.
Okay, well, you have all those plants in the office.
Yes.
So you got to have some tomatoes and something in there.
No, they're all like money trees. They're house plants. They're beautiful. I love them all because they all came from an act of gratitude.
Okay, so get your client to work in the fields.
Okay,
and then have them bring you one of the plants from the field, a little tomato plant. Get them out of their issue.
Yeah, and then I can put them on my side yard at my house with my veggie garden.
You're a nut job.
I am a nut job. Make it as a positive.
Positive.
Yes.
Oh, I do that half-empty thing. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's all negative for me.
Oh, yeah. I am an extremely negative person to myself, but I'm a very positive person to everyone else. Yeah. Wow. And I think that stems from the years of abuse.
Jesus.
That I got. So I'm very negative.
Are you dead inside?
I probably am.
It's just like an inner core that's just rotted away.
Yeah, it's like this heart thing is like frozen.
Oh, you have no heart?
I don't. Well, it does, but as long as you have 4 legs and fur and bark and meow.
Oh, the humans not so much.
Humans not so much, which is why I think I can put my doors up. But always you gotta not the half like this is. Well, no, it's quarter empty.
This is empty.
No, there's still some in it.
There's still some in it, but to me, this is empty. This is an insufficient bottle. It cannot be carried any further. Like this is just no good.
No, now.
But to you, there's life in here.
There's life in there because that means that it's not completely saturated. See, there's still stuff. There's still stuff you can work with and reposition.
So this is like our clients.
Yeah.
There's just a little bit left in there.
A little bit left in there, and the goal is to add to it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Makes total sense.
Okay.
So homelessness to law school,
Yeah.
passing the bar the first time, becoming a criminal defense attorney, 8 jobs, 4 jobs, cats, animals, dogs,
turtles.
tattoos, therapy.
Yeah.
Calmness, coping.
I'm
and a
very...
jungle of plants in your office.
Yes.
All you need is homeless court. And I think we got the trifecta. I think that's like a hat trick.
Yeah, I could probably do it.
I'm down.
I'll look into it.
I will help you, ma'am.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks for coming over.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.